I grew up going to church each and every week with my family, and so I had a foundation for God. I had heard about Jesus, but I didn't know him, and I didn't know that I could know him in a real way. Well, midway through high school, when my older brother was born again, he began to share with me. At that point in my life, I was heavily involved with alcohol and drugs. My parents are divorced, so there was a lot of pain involved with that. I was searching, I was longing, was also dealt with a lot of sexual brokenness, and so I had a lot of shame, confusion, guilt, and pain in my life. But yet the Lord was pursuing me through my brother. My brother would share the gospel with me and let me know that I could know the living God. I could know him in a real way. But the shame continued to keep me down, if you will, and I desperately wanted to be made new. I wanted to start over, and I had doubts that God would really love me and that he would really come in and forgive me of all my sin and make me a new person. And so the Lord continued to pursue me throughout high school. My freshman year in college, I went to Texas A&M, and my life continued to just sort of unravel. On the inside, things looked okay on the outside, but on the inside I continued to spiral down. God continued to pursue me. I remember Easter Sunday. We had gone to church at the church my brother went to in Dallas, and the pastor gave the invitation for those that wanted to receive Christ as their Savior and be born again to come forward. And there was so much fear in my heart. Again, I doubted God's love. I doubted that He would really come in and set me free and make me new and forgive me. And so I shut the door and I continued on. And then later that summer, we went back to the same church, and the pastor gave the invitation, and I didn't have a chance. The Father had me, and I looked at my brother, and I just said, "What do I do?" And he said, "Just go pray with the counselor." So I got up, and I walked down, and I knelt, and I prayed there with the counselor there at the front of the church, and prayed to receive Christ as my Savior, and repented of my sin, and gave him my life. And it literally felt like the weight of the world came off my shoulders, and I knew I was home, and his grace was poured out on my life.
I became a Christian when I was a really young kid. I grew up in a Christian home, but the majority of my life I just strived to be this perfect kid and tried to do everything right and just earn God's love, really. Not really understanding until really recently, within the past few years, that God's love is constant, and he always loves me, and I don't have to earn it or try to be a perfect kid or be a perfect person to receive his love, because everything he did on the cross was enough. It was more than enough for me to be loved by God and to be accepted by him. And I don't have to be perfect right when I become a Christian. I don't have to have everything together. But through Christ's death and resurrection, he is perfecting me and drawing me to him. And for that, I'm thankful.
I'm Meredith James, and to me, the cross is just the ultimate sign of love. Growing up in a great home with supportive parents who taught me the biblical truths from the womb, I knew that Jesus died and that he rose again, but not until as a teenager did I really understand the significance of that. So as I've grown up, I've been able to learn more and more about the identity that the cross gives us as believers. That growing up, when especially as a young girl, I want to be an athlete, I want to be a singer, I had all these aspirations, and always came up second best. I've always searching for identity in things and in relationships, and I was searching for identity, and I've been learning even up to date that my identity is in the cross, and my identity is in the person of Jesus. And when so much is unknown around me, I don't know where I'm working, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know anything where I'm living, there's truth that I do know, that Jesus died, that he loved me so much that he paid the ultimate price to take all of my nastiness and to give me a new life.
Hello, I'm Sean Isbell. I have been a Christian for a long, long time, it seems like. But from a young age, I grew up in a Christian home, and what I feel like I learned at a young age was how to talk the talk, but not really walk the walk. And so it's my life with Jesus has been a process. It's taken a long time for me to come into knowing who He truly is and how He really feels about me. So today I know Him to be forgiving and loving, and someone who cherishes me for who I am, and because of what He did on the cross, He doesn't see my sin anymore. He sees who He is and what He has done.